Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today I would like to discuss the devastating life of Jerboa III, as well as the crimes of her mother. This video was suggested to me by Owls, and it made me realize how much of this topic deserves to be discussed. Keep in mind that this video contains some major spoilers for The Dangerous Gift, so click off the video if you haven't read that book already. Anyways, without further ado, let's get into the video. Jerboa is probably one of the worst dragons in Pyrean history, falling right up next to Darkstalker. And the worst part is, the way she treated Jerboa III isn't brought up that often by Wings of Fire fans. This video will take a deep dive into how toxic and evil she was, as well as the effect it had on Boa, her artificial daughter. That's right, Jerboa used animus magic to create her perfect vision of a daughter. Instead of having dragonets naturally, she chose to enchant one to exist, constantly changing Boa's personality whenever Jerboa found her to be annoying or had something she wanted fixed. It's so awful to think about, especially because Boa wasn't even her first daughter. We have no idea what happened to Jerboa II, but I think it would make for a great winglet or short story. It's kind of horrifying to think of what really happened, but she definitely got restarted or even killed by Jerboa for figuring out the truth. But for Boa, she had to live 2,000 miserable years with her toxic and controlling mother, forced to change her personality with spells she didn't even realize were being cast. Jerboa enchanted Boa to do things she disliked doing, made her more passive, and practically stripped her from any sort of real personality. When Boa learned the truth, she felt so fake. It's like no part of her was even real anymore, and she didn't know which parts of her were enchanted or natural. Jerboa even restarted Boa's life several times over the span of 2,000 years, readjusting her, de-aging her whenever she wasn't perfect. Animus magic can't do everything, and I feel like personality adjusting is one of them that you just can't get right. This is further shown in Wings of Fire when Darkstalker just couldn't create his perfect Clearsight clone. It's impossible to mimic a personality or create a dragon that is just right, but sadly Jerboa never learned of this. She just kept thinking she could fix Boa with spells, altering her in every way possible. She gave her daughter nightmares to scare her of animus magic, made her a slow thinker and a slow speaker, made her more agreeable, and tons of just awful things. It was so devastating to read this, especially when Boa got closer and closer to the truth. Finding out that she was so artificial must have been earth-shattering to her. She never liked her mother much anyways, regardless of the spells cast to make her love her mother, but this must have just made things worse for her. Just to make things more depressing, Jerboa never understood that what she was doing was morally wrong. When she was being frozen by Boa, she cast a quick enchantment to do something horrible to Boa. She would lose a part of herself every single time she cast a spell. Literally lose a part of herself. Boa hated animus magic from the beginning, but she could hardly cast spells to keep herself safe or raise her mother's enchantments, because she would lose a claw every time. Then when she lost majority of her claws, the spell moved towards her tail barb, then other parts of her body. Jerboa cast a spell, losing another claw in the process, to enchant jewelry to appear in the parts of her body that she had lost. That way she could try and live a normal life as a dragon without being asked about her wounds. She had to cover up the pain her mother gave her, even in death. Only Snowfall knows the truth of Boa's situation, and how she had to live 2,000 miserable years with her awful mother, Jerboa. She has to suffer in silence from now on. But, to try and end any more chaos could be caused by animus magic, Boa cast one final spell to prevent any spells be cast by any alive animus dragons. Previously used enchantments would work, but no new spells could be cast. It was for the best, and I agree with her. Animus magic is too dangerous, and all it brings is bloodshed and death, no matter who is the one casting the spells. Anyway, that's pretty much it for this video. Once again, thank you to Alice for suggesting this idea. I'm honestly surprised I'd never thought of doing an analysis on Jerboa and Jerboa III before, but I'm so glad that I did. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!